Yeah, good start. Here we go, it's going to fall off already. There we go. Let's get stuck into it then.
Mortimer, Shaw, looking at to adventure down the left. There's a drop ball coming in for Tony Molling. Oh yeah!
Hello and welcome back to The Villains. On today's episode, we are going to rate every single Aston Villa player who has played minutes this season. 1 to 10, and anyone who watches Up the Villa will know that on SofaScore, on Transfer Hubs, any player that gets a 7 has had a good season, a solid season. Not an average, just a good, solid season. And I think I'll caveat to say that Aston Villa have had a good season. So the ratings, the rankings that I'm going to give personally are very, very fair. I've not done this episode to hammer anyone, to give low scores or high scores. It's purely honest thoughts of what I rate all of these players. And within each player, I'll give my thoughts on how they've performed this season as well. So if you are new to the channel, help me out massively. Let's get this channel moving in the right direction. Subscribe to it. I want to have more subscribers. I want more people watching, and that's down to you guys at home that can help that happen. So subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts, get a pen and paper, rank all of yours and put them in the comment section down below. You can rank what I've ranked. So I'm ranking these, you rank mine, and give your thoughts on what I give the players. And smash the like button. Let's try and get 1,000 likes on this. So I need your help to help grow this channel early on. We're in early days. It took a lot of time to do this one, guys. So a lot of effort has gone into it. So if you can help me and support me, that's highly appreciated. So enjoy the show. Up the Villains. Right then. Defenders, goalkeepers, you are up first. We've got every defender and goalkeeper that has played minutes for Aston Villa this season. We're going to kick it off with Emi Martinez, and I have given Emi Martinez this season a 7. I think he's been solid. I think he's been good. I think he's been below his usual standards. I think, on the other hand, he's also saved us with big saves. I think Emi Martinez, Champions League Martinez, has been better than Premier League Emi Martinez. I think he's had massive attributes in good areas. I think his collecting of the ball from set pieces, corners, relieving pressure is absolutely amazing. And if he does leave, the new keeper has got to continue with that, because it's such a good attribute that relieves a lot of pressure for these defenders. He has chucked a few in his own net. I do think he's struggled at times getting down low at times. So I think he's been good, and I don't want to give him anything below a 7, because I do think he has been good for Aston Villa. And like I said at the start, we've achieved Europa League, which is a very good season. We've finished 6th, so rating players below certain levels just for the sake of it, I don't think is very fair. Robin Olsen is getting a 7 as well, guys. I think he stepped up when we needed him to. The game against Brentford, when we needed Robin Olsen, he stepped up and delivered and kept that clean sheet. And he's had massive critics along the way. I've probably critiqued him a little bit. I thought early on he couldn't play with the ball at his feet. He's massively improved that side of his game, just like Martinez has. Very difficult gloves to fill. I'm going to say boots, but I'll say gloves to fill. So I think he was good. I don't think he's done anything bad. I don't think anything has been his fault. So I think 7s across the boards are very, very good. So let's get into the actual defenders. And Tyrone Mings gets an 8. Tyrone Mings' minutes were very limited. If we have a look here now, Tyrone Mings' minutes he had and games played 14, started 12. So didn't really start that many games, but kept clean sheets. And when he played very, very well. And I think there's got to be this combination of Mings and Pau complementing, and I think he played through injury in around January, and I don't think he's been fully fit the whole time. I think that's why his minutes have been limited. But when he has had to come in, he's played through the pain barrier. He's playing with the ball at his feet, has improved. Is he as good as Pau with the ball at his feet? No, but that's not his game. And just when he's come into the side, he's been absolutely colossal for Aston Villa with those clean sheets. So I've got so much admiration, so much pride for Tyrone Mings, because from where he's come from, what he's had to go through to play Champions League, although his first one he picked the ball up, but to actually play that as a player is brilliant. I imagine he's going to get a year's extension and he'll still be around the squad. So nothing but praise for Tyrone Mings. Next one, a new player for Aston Villa, was Ian Maatsen. Early on, I think we all expected Maatsen to start games. We expected him to play a lot, but he didn't. He had to learn and adapt to playing in an Unai Emery system. And I think as the season's gone on, he's got better and better. There's real big, bright sparks. There's things that he needs to work on. But he's a young player that's going to grow and hopefully flourish and grow into this Aston Villa shirt. So is he the finished article? No. Is there a lot more from him to come? Yes. Does he need to improve certain areas? Yes. But I think he's been pretty solid. I think the games that he played towards the back end of the season were very impressive, and it gives me a lot of confidence moving into next season especially. Next up, we've got Ezri Konsa, and again, he's got a high rating. He's got a high rating because for me, he's been Aston Villa's best defender this season, but has he been as good as what he has been in previous seasons? I'm not so sure. I think Konsa is such a good player that we get accustomed to good performances and good defending and reading of the game, sensing danger, playing out from the back. His passing accuracy is absolutely impeccable. So he's been very, very good without sort of standing out too much. I think next season what I want to see from him, I want to see more goals from set pieces. And I also want to see him just being a little bit more aggressive. I think that's something that I think if he could add being more aggressive to his game and just play that extra little, not risky pass, but forward pass, a clipped pass. We saw it for England that he was getting on the ball and playing those passes a lot more for England. If he can do that, he goes up a massive, massive level for me. Garcia is going to get a 7. I think every time I've seen him play, he's been good. I don't think he's done anything wrong. He comes off a lot. But again, there's a player there. There's a player that looks exciting, that looks vibrant, that looks fresh, energetic, fast. He looks humble, ready to learn. And I think that's something that I really like about Garcia. Disasi, he's going to get a 7. I don't think we've seen much of him, and I don't think we've seen him in his best position. I think at right back, it didn't really work. I think the game against Brentford was absolutely crucial. And I think the fact that he's a lone player that came in January, late on, had to settle, adapt, adjust, and just be there and be present. I think he was good. And I think there is a good defender there. Is there a defender that we'd want to sign? Could he overcome Konsa? I don't think so. But I like him. I like his ethic. I like that he wanted to come to Villa and that's what we want from our players. Luca Dean, I think, had a solid season. I think it was just solid. It was good. It was nothing more, nothing less. And I think the fact that Maatsen has been able to come in and dislodge him towards the end of the season speaks volumes. And I think within our system, we need it to evolve for next season. I think if you're looking at output, and we're looking at Luca Dean, so he played 32, started 28, no goals, 4 assists. And we're talking about our width and threat on the left when we don't play with an active left-sided winger coming from Digne, then we need a lot more. If we have a quick look at Maatsen, then he played 29, started 10. So, again, his minutes were pretty limited. He did score as well, if I can remember off the top of my head. So, just very solid, nothing X factor. But for next season, we need to get into the 8, 9s and 10s. You were getting Champions League football, those are the numbers that you get in 8, 9s, 10s. And there's just a couple that are just falling short, I think. Next up, we've got Pau Torres. And a lot of you will be surprised because, and some of you that have never watched my content before will know that I am his biggest fan. I am his biggest fan. And for me, he plays every single game that he's fit. But I just think this season, he got injured and he's just not been at that level to propel us probably to Champions League. We can all see that the balls he puts into midfield are brilliant. He's done that this season. But it's just been a bit below Pau standards for me. And as a big Pau fan, I think, when I'm saying this, I'm just being truthful. But again, hardly any goals. No goals. We need goals. We need goals from our defenders, and we're not getting them. And those goals are just goals off set pieces and becoming a threat. And, Konsa got one towards the end of the season, but we just need more from them as well. We need them to defend well, but we need them to be just a bit more, have more presence. And I think this defence has been okay. And you can see that it's been okay with the scores. It went through a bad phase where we were conceding too many goals. But then we've gone through phases where we keep loads of clean sheets. So it's finding that balance. And I think that's been the problem with the defence, that it's chopped and changed. Digne's played, Maatsen's played, Desassi's played, Mings has played, Pau's played, Garcia, Nedeljkovic, You have to have a settled back line, and we haven't had that this season. So that's where some of the ratings come in. And finally, Matty Cash, I dwelled on this one. And I dwelled on a solid 7 or a 6. And I went with a 6. And Villa's problem at right back isn't just Matty Cash. It's the system. And we will all know that he cuts back a lot. But I don't think it's on Cash that always dictates whether he does that or not. Because if we can see that he cuts back too much, Emery can see it as well. So why hasn't Emery gone, stop doing it? And the fact that he does it time and time again tells me that it's a system thing. It's a get to an advanced position, cut back, build, recycle, left to right, go again. When at times we get into an advanced position, cross it in the box, play a forward pass, look to play the forward pass before you look to cut back. So his game has been dictated by a system, in my opinion, but we do need, unfortunately, to upgrade that position, because if teams are targeting our right-hand side every game, that tells me that teams look at this and think, weak link, problem. So Cash gets a 6 for me. Pau gets a 6. There's some solid 7s, 8 across the boards. The defence has been okay, in my opinion. So let's go to the midfield. The Villa midfield, stacked with some very good players. We'll kick it off with John McGinn, the captain. And John McGinn gets a solid 7. I think he's played in numerous positions and he's had some standout games. And this season for me, we've got to a phase where if he doesn't play, I don't think we're as solid. So he's been crucial. His leadership, his application has been good on the pitch. He's a model pro and he's achieved a lot at Aston Villa. The goals and the assists are a bit of a problem for this midfield. And that is also where I think we've had small problems within getting numbers from these midfielders to score more goals as well. He's had a lot of opportunities and he has scored. John McGinn has scored this season 1 goal, 4 assists. And for a player that has played 34 games and started 27, it's quite low when he's been in those attacking areas. So McGinn, again, he hasn't had a bad season. He's been good. He's been good. And I think Champions League, he was good as well. So fair play to John McGinn. Yuri Tielemans has got a 10. Head and shoulders above any other Villa player. Mentality, work rate, commitment, desire, quality, tactical awareness, technical ability, engine, heartbeat to this team. And he has been absolutely incredible. And from a player that didn't really play in the double pivot much last year, the growth and development of him has been sensational. And it should be a lesson to every fan that when Unai Emery adapts you into a position, nurtures you and grows you and coaches you, then you can become a very big player. And that will go to some of the players that we're going to mention in a second off the other sheet. Boubacar Kamara is going to get an 8. I think he has been very Boubacar Kamara-esque. I think, again, he's probably one of our best players. Has he been as good as what I've seen? I think we've seen sparks of it. But again, minutes, games played. I need to see more from Kamara. I need to see Kamara there more. And that goes with Onana as well, with his injuries. And I know it's not always a player's fault that they get injured, but I do want to see him there more. Again, goals. He's shown that he can get to the edge of the box. His role has changed within the double pivot. We used to play with him being the deep liar and Douglas Luiz on a sort of a diagonal line. Now they're on a central line together. Both compress to the edge of the box. Both have licence to get back as well. So their role has changed and they've worked very, very well together. Ross Barkley, I'm also going to give a 7. I was actually going to give him an 8, but I felt like towards the end of the season he struggled a little bit. And again, it's injuries. You know, you can't just always go, you're not playing well, you're rubbish, why? He's been injured for a large part of the season, but at the start of the season, he was scoring crucial goals for Aston Villa. And had he stayed fit and had he been at that level all season, I think he would have had a really, really good season for Villa. If we have a look at his numbers, played 20, started 3 goals, 1 assist. So not played that much, off the bench a lot. But when he's come on, he's looked good and he's a model pro. And I think injuries have been a bit of a problem for him. Bogard, going to give him a 6, guys. I personally feel like this is opportunity missed for Bogard. I like him. I think he's played in numerous positions, right back, centre half, central midfield. But did he do enough with the minutes he got, with the opportunity that he got? And I'm not sure he did. I don't think he grasped it fully. And that leaves me with a little bit of a, I wish you would have just given that or produced that little bit more. And it looks like a player to me that doesn't fully feel comfortable. And I think that comes with confidence and it comes from belief. And that's just how I feel about Bogard. Solid, but I don't think I saw enough, which is a shame. I mean, thank God Philogene wasn't on this list, guys, because if he was still here, oh my days. Onana, 7. Again, injuries curtailed his season, but big goals, scored goals. Started to see, as the season went on, driving from midfield, getting better and better. A player that has got a lot to improve on. Touch, composure, awareness. But that will come. He's still very, very young. You know, you look at him and you forget how old he is. He's 23. 23. And he's played 26 games, started 20 and scored 3 goals. So, again, there's a player there that I want to see develop and grow and get better and better. And I believe he can. I believe he can. And then Ramsey, I'm going to give him a 6. I think I need to see more. I need to see more. And I want to see more. But whenever I see him, he flatters to deceive me. When he scores or when he does something well, I find he'll just disappear for 20, 30 minutes and he's out the game. And I want to see him present for a 90. I want to see him come for the ball, receive the ball, touch, pop off, go, and just be there more in a game. I think there's a player there, but I just don't see enough from him. And that's my thing. And I know he's one of our own, and etc. But that can still be criticised. Played 29 games, started 19, scored 1 goal and got 3 assists. A player on that left-hand side, where that position hasn't been owned by anybody. And it's a problem. He got outed by Rashford. You can see from the game and the starts that Emery isn't fully confident with him starting all those games. So I want to see him kick on. He should have kicked on this season, but he didn't. So if he's still here next year, he's got to have a big season for Villa. He's got to develop and grow and become that finished player now. Because there's still question marks of what can he do. Don't get me wrong, when he does his little shimmy and he drives and he looks good, but I want to see more now from a player that has been in the Premier League playing for Villa for all of Emery's time, Gerrard's time, part of Dino's time as well. I need to see more there. So that's my midfield, but again, we need more goals. Very good on goals and assists. Decent. We need more goals and assists. We need more goals. We need more output from this midfield moving forward. And that's why I believe potentially there's going to be a midfielder coming in that can play on that left-hand side. So that's my midfield rating. Let's go to the attackers. The attackers. 6 of them. And there's a big point to be made here. Daniel Marlon, limited minutes, came in January, has looked very bright, has scored goals. He'd already got 14 games played, 2 starts, 3 goals. 26 years of age. Numbers since he's been here, the 3 goals, pretty impressive really when we compare what the other midfielders were contributing. With more games played, in and out the side. A player that's going to get better and better under Emery, just like Tielemans. 8. Because he's looked a threat in every game that we've played. He's looked a bright spark. Yes, he's probably played the odd crossfield pass and gone out of play, but I think he's been decent. Morgan Rogers for Aston Villa, he's going to get a 9. One of the bright sparks of this Villa side this season. His game has come on immensely. His finishing ability, something that I criticised and said needed to get better at the start of the season, has. Cleaner strikes. Had a problem with playing out wide on the right. Needs to play more central. A player that needs to develop more as well. A lot of good stuff, driving forward, central spaces, but at times will overplay, will overtouch, will overdribble, will run into players. So he's a player that's got to grow and develop, and he's not the finished article. But what we are seeing is an absolute monster of a player at Aston Villa, who under Unai Emery has been sensational. So for me, he's had a real top season, and I think more goals, more assists next season. It is huge for Aston Villa. Now, 2 players who came into Aston Villa for a reason. Why did they come in? Because struggling, wasn't here. Midfield, numbers not high enough. So when we're criticising someone, say, like Ramsey, or saying that we need more goals from McGinn, these came in for a reason. They didn't come in because it was just opportunistic. They came in because the squad needed that lift, needed that input, needed that output. So these 2 players are going to get very high scores, because if it wasn't for them, we would not be in Europe whatsoever. We were averagely around 10th place for parts of this season. And they came in and gave that lift to get us to the Europa League. And I'll reiterate that the Europa League is a very good season for Aston Villa, finishing 6th off the back of Champions League. So Rashford gets an 8 for the impact. I think he's quality. Touch, pace, dribbling, technique, ability, ball striking, everything's clean. Every cross is clean, every strike is clean. He's very unlucky with some of the opportunities that just didn't quite fall to him. Was unplayable against PSG at home for that spell. And a very good player. And I think he's a really good top player, Rashford. Again, Asensio, impact, 8. His game fell down when Rashford went up top. When Rashford was on the left, this combination was exceptional. And then when Rashford went up top, his output fell short a little bit. But the touch is there, and he's adapted to the Premier League well. And I imagine if he could still be here on loan again with a pre-season, he's a good asset to have in your squad. 100%. Now, 2 players left. And I know a lot of you will be very shocked with the score that I give Watkins. I know you'll be shocked, because I know in the comments, and I know what some people will give him. He gets an 8 from me. And the reason why he gets an 8 is because of the following. Played 38 games, started 31, 16 goals, 8 assists. Take him out your team, you've only got goals from Rodgers, a couple from Asensio, a couple from Ramsey, decent numbers from Yuri, nothing really from McGinn, nothing from him. Without him this season, even though he's missed a lot of chances, we would be in big trouble. And you could say we could have another striker that could get more goals, etc. You can, but where are they? Who are they? Delap's going to Man United. I'd look at someone like Sesko. But he looks like he's probably going somewhere like Arsenal if Gyökeres doesn't go there. Top Premier League striker that's guaranteed on a bad season. I wouldn't say he's had a bad season, but on a bad season he'll get you 10 goals. Played through injury, came back, no pre-season. Needs more respect. Villa's all-time leading Premier League goal scorer needs more respect. Does he miss chances? Yes. But do we take our chances anywhere else? Not really. So, for me, one of our most important players. But does he have areas that he needs to improve on? His touch is terrible. His touch at times is awful. It's frustrating. Does it need to improve? Yes. Does he need a younger striker in and around him, pushing him, growing him? Yes. But right now, I don't want to lose him from the team, because if you're losing Martinez or someone else, and you lose him as well with them guaranteed goals, I think he needs more respect. I think he needs more respect. And a solid 8 for those numbers is good. And final player on the list is Leon Bailey with a 4. Absolutely awful this season. And it's such a shame, because I remember being in the Holt End this season, and when he did something wrong, there would be groans, moans, abuse, and he needed a bit of praise. He needed a bit of people sticking with him a bit. I think he's been criticised harshly, but overall, he's been awful. The drop-off from last season has been staggering. And why I say that is that I have backed him this season to come good. I have backed him. I have stuck with him for large parts. But we cannot have a player that has that fall off. And it's not even about Bailey. It's about Rodgers. It's about Rodgers, and it's about the team. The team has been let down by Bailey, because Bailey had the ideal position at Villa, out wide, on the right, dream position. We don't ask you to go on the left. We don't ask you to play in the 10. We ask you to play in your preferred position on the right. And you haven't been able to do it successfully, which has meant that the squad has had to move one of our better players to that position to accommodate Bailey, which has meant that other players have to move in there, and the balance of the team just wasn't there. So my frustration isn't just with him, it's with what's happened to the team. So he gets a 4 because this season we had 24 games played, 14 starts, 1 goal, 2 assists. Even Bailey would say he's been bad. Even Bailey must look at him and go, do you know what? I've been so bad this season. And has he been injured? Yes. Has he played through injury? Yes. But we needed to see a better version there to help the team more. And that's what I feel let down most by with Bailey. The team has been let down. And the team is the most important part of this, more so than any individual. So those are my ratings. I think I've been pretty fair across the board, and certain positions that I want to see improved, I've let you know. Players that I think have done well, I've let you know. So it'll be interesting to see what you've gone for. I don't imagine many have rated him at an 8. Maybe some have rated him less than a 4. Maybe some have rated him less than a... Maybe there's lots of different opinions. But these are my honest thoughts of what I believe has happened this season with the squad. So hopefully you've all enjoyed this episode. It's been fun creating. I did have to cut all these out as well, so my cutting ability is pretty decent. So if you've enjoyed it, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. On your way out, make sure you're smashing the like button. And most importantly, comment your thoughts. Up the Villains.